I'm flagged out too. I don't think I can function in any other meeting as well, so I had to go out. We've been in meetings all day. Wow. And all of that, so asked him to convey his sincere apologies and all of that, so this is me doing that.
Thank
and
you.
Also thanking you for coming here too.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so how long are the passports?
They are trying to open the
Ashleigh, tell me your visit to the Nigeria house. Does it make you resonate one more time with the motherland?
Yeah, honestly, just being there for the week of celebrations was incredible. I've only been to Nigeria for football camp, so to experience going, obviously as a winner alongside the team, seeing some of my family, being able to be in Abuja and in Lagos as well and celebrate in both places was something that whole week will stay with me for the rest of my life.
Fantastic. Actually, let's run us through the moment you got to Morocco and that day when you lifted the trophy.
Honestly, it's still kind of a blur right now because I haven't really had time to for everything to sink in. But going into the final, I messaged one of my friends before the game and I was just like, it doesn't feel like I'm playing a final. I feel like the whole journey of being in Morocco was just like trying to take one game at a time and just kind of trusting in the process. And that's how it felt in the final as well. Obviously, it was a big occasion and we were playing in front of so many Moroccan fans. But for us, we just kind of prepared for every game in the same way. So I think maybe the occasion got to us a little bit at the start of the game because obviously our first half was very different to our second half. But at the end of the day, I think we knew in the back of our mind like what we wanted to achieve from the very beginning. So we knew in our minds that the final was something that we were going to get to, that we wanted to get to. And when we got there, it was just trying to execute the plan that we had in mind.
This victory, what does it mean? And what can it do for the girl child in Nigeria and Africa in general?
Yeah, it's huge. I think all of us as players, we know the responsibility that we have. I always say, especially like the young people that I'm around, obviously we're in a privileged position to be in a position where a lot of young girls would like to get to. And I think a lot of them look up to us to a point where they want to be able to follow in our footsteps. But I think one thing I try and emphasize to young people is everybody will have their own unique journey to getting there, and I really do believe in how the journey feels rather than the end goal. Like for me, the end goal when I was younger, it was never to be a professional footballer. I always encourage young people to listen to their intuition, to themselves, their own dreams, try not to get too distracted by outside noise, and just try and follow in. Sure, be inspired, but there isn't another version of you, so you put your footprint on your journey and then you then become that person for other young people then to look up to.
Fantastic. This victory, are you confident it can transform women's football in Nigeria?
Yeah, I think obviously the team has had success for many, many years, and obviously with women's football being bigger now, it's nice that, and I wasn't expecting how big it was when we won. I knew what it meant for people, but I don't think I really knew how much it meant for Nigerians, for women's football in Nigeria and West Africa and Africa as a whole. But I think the important thing is when you're successful, there's a lot of attention when you've won, but then it's the what next, and then sustaining any level of support or backing. And obviously a lot of people have appreciated us and they've congratulated us and said how much it's meant to the nation. But I think the next thing is well, then what can this success do? Obviously when you talk about what it can do for the girl child, we don't want this just to be a celebration of a week, 2 weeks, 1 month. It has to then infiltrate down into academy systems, into the setup in Nigeria. How can we make these opportunities more accessible to young people so they that when we talk about young people having a dream, it's so easy for us to say, you know, have a dream and it can come true. But I think that's sometimes wishful thinking. Like, there are certain things that have to be put in place to support young people to get those opportunities. So I hope that's the next thing.
And when the Super Falcons were lifting the trophy, the Lionesses were also winning the Euros again. How does that make you feel?
Amazing. Honestly, I was following their journey at the same time that I was out in Morocco. And I grew up playing with some of the girls from a young age. So to be able to see their success and sustain success and see how much it's changing football in this country is incredible. Because obviously, when I grew up playing with those girls, we were just playing, just enjoying football. We didn't know what it would amount to. And for me, obviously, being born here and brought up here, just to see how women's football has grown and to see how successful some of these girls have been. And I know them as separate from a footballer. I know them as people, and I know that they're good people. So it's nice that they are role models that I don't know, I'm happy that like young people, like my younger siblings, can look up to them because they're more than just footballers.
How special is it representing Nigeria?
Yeah, this is a question I don't think with my answer I can ever really put it into words because it far goes beyond football. I didn't know, like when I stepped into this journey, I didn't really know what it would look like or what I even expected. It for me, I didn't need to know, but it was just kind of walking. I like to use the phrase like stepping into my truth. So it's something that I felt that I was connected to and I wanted to explore. And yeah, I mean, like I've now become more connected to part of my heritage in so many ways. And I'm just looking forward to slowly uncovering more and more, you know, like even after this win, like going to Nigeria, experiencing Nigeria in a completely different way than just going there to play football, even bringing family members together that we've never done before, like things like that. I just hope it's like a trickle on effect from, you know, football in particular in Nigeria, but also like for myself, my journey, and then hopefully people who see my journey and it resonates with them a little bit.
Fantastic. Ashleigh, barely 3 years with this team, and you have lifted a WAFCON trophy. You've been to the World Cup. You have a national honor. Oh, good dollars in the bank also. Does this spur you to do much more?
Yeah, honestly, when you put it like that, it makes me realize like what I have been able to achieve. I guess it's still a little bit overwhelming for me because like even when I joined the team, in my mind it wasn't like I want to be at a World Cup and I want to, you know, do this and this. But it's just kind of all come from just making that step and pushing myself to be the best player I can in this position. I mean, there is so much talent and Nigerian talent that to be named as one of the 24 to be able to represent Nigeria at a major tournament was huge, and then to go on and win it. I mean, yeah, it's just like honestly, I think sometimes like I surprise myself. I didn't expect it of myself. So now to think that I can actually achieve something and win something with such a prestigious team, it just makes me excited to know what the future will hold.
Let's end it this way. If you want to look at the next 5 years with the D Tigers, what sort of targets will you give it?
You know,
With the Super Falcons, please.
you know, like I think, especially obviously with the recent win at WAFCON, that's a big step because we know that all African teams are improving, they're investing more. The support system is bigger for a lot of African teams. So for us to win, it's not easy. I know we were expected to win, but it's not easy at all. I always say like playing African teams is probably one of the difficult matches I ever played because you have so many great individuals, and sometimes you're playing against really unpredictable teams. But I think I was showing at the World Cup in 2023 when we got out of a group that people were calling the group of death. People didn't expect us to get out of the group. We get out of the group and then we play England, who end up playing in the final of the World Cup, and we take them to penalties, and we didn't concede in that game, or we only conceded two goals, I think, in that tournament. So yeah, if we can compete with some of the best teams in the world, it just goes to show like, you know, why can't we do that more consistently if we have the right backing and we continue to push and invest in our team?
Tell me, what is the admirable quality of the Super Falcons team that each time something is thrown at you girls, you pick yourself back up so easily? How do you do that?
There's a lot of resilience in the team. I mean, I think we have been on a journey with one another, and I'm saying this, and I've not been on the team half as long as a lot of the senior players on the team, but we go on a journey together, and we know that there's like we're backed by a sisterhood. So our, individual success is only as big as the team success, and vice versa. So yeah, we're all just a little representative of one another. So I think for us, like, we go on a journey together, we push through battles and challenges together. We ultimately are all super competitive and want to succeed. And then even when things don't necessarily go our way, like the final is a great indicator of how we are as a team. Like, to go 2-0 down, and the number of people I've spoken to who've said, like, at 2-0 down at half time, I've turned the TV off. Even my dad said that, like, he stopped watching. And I get it. But like, there was never a moment in our mind when we were like, yeah, we're going to be down and out here. Like, we know what we're capable of, and we know at any moment we can just change the tides of a game. And I think that's something that, well, for me, to be on that side of things as a player, I always say, like, I only get brought up by them. So even if I perform well, it's just because I'm around people that's bringing me up, and vice versa. So yeah, I just think, yeah, the sky's the limit with us, really.
Thanks so much, Ashleigh. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. You're very proud. Thank you. We're very proud of you.